Hello, everyone. This is Cody Lee of BlackCatBooks.org, author of I, the Dragon, Cruel and Beautiful, Rabbit Hole, King Dia, Lauren Frey, Grim Clover, Internet Bloodsport, City of Steel, and the upcoming Jaw of the Dragon. So I've actually kind of finished the eight storylines in Live Alive. I haven't finished it yet. I'm on the last story, the last chapter. Which I did not know existed, by the way. Like, I was under the impression the game ended after like the eighth. So I thought like this was, I thought the Middle Ages portion was going to be the end game, but apparently not. I have a lot to say about Live Alive. I don't know. Maybe I should wait until I finish the game, but I suppose that like the last portion of it is considerably different than the rest of it. So maybe I should do like an isolated portion talking about like the individual chapters and like how I felt about them. Needless to say, I loved it. Live Alive was just a fantastic experience through and through. Like, I would argue it's a little bit too easy, but in that regard, I think the game, it really benefits the gameplay. Like, this is a good entry-level JRPG, I feel like, because it really takes everything that people love about the genre and just kind of like throws a whole lot of like interesting, unique twists at you in ways that you can experience however you want. In particular, like if you don't like a particular storyline, you can like just switch to another one whenever you want. And like I got bored of like doing the prehistory one, so I went to like, you know, the cave, the cowboy one, and then I think the present day one, and then kind of went back to it. But generally speaking, like each and every storyline in this game was just a lot of fun with like unique, interesting mechanics, cool, interesting characters, and just like interesting, unique settings. Like I think the game, I think, can be summed up as a weird crossover between Dragon Quest IV and Chrono Trigger, in which like you kind of unite an entire party of characters like throughout the ages to kind of deal with some problems they come across in their daily lives, right? You get like their introductory chapters, and then like the story just kind of ties them all together in the end, apparently, from what I understand, from what I was playing in the last chapter. I found myself like each and every story is like very different with you have the distant future where you're a robot exploring a spaceship. You have like the cowboy one where you're like gathering resources and preparing to deal with an onslaught of bandits, of a bandit raid. You have like a prehistory one where you're a caveman like trying to bang this cave chick, which is based as fuck, by the way. You have the near future, which is basically like Acura, which is awesome. Acura with giant robots. It's honestly probably my favorite. I really like Near Future. I really like Akira as a character in that one. A lot of fun to see that play out. You have Present Day, which is structured like a fighting game. You have like so much like cool, unique, like interesting ideas thrown at you in like these kind of mini JRPG scenarios, and all of them are really good and very distinct from each other. And because they're so different, you hardly register the fact they're so short and easy, because like you just kind of want to keep playing and see what happens next. Like I was surprised at how much variety there was packed in here and how it still keeps going. I legitimately thought that like the Middle Ages was the end of the game. It seemed to be setting itself up for that. But nope, there's a little bit more after that. So I'm not sure if I should talk about the middle age portion. I don't know. I probably should, because that's the thing I most recently played, and I think the more I think about it, the more I think that like that scenario is like a masterpiece. Honestly, like I really wasn't. I knew there was some kind of dark twist to it. I knew there was like something like up with the characters, but like I didn't know what they were going for at first. I was just like, oh, it's just a typical JRPG plot. I mean, maybe the princess isn't actually in love with you, and like she's being forced into this marriage, but oof. What ends up happening is that like you go through like your typical JRPG adventure where you like build the party, you like find some old heroes, you meet up with your buddy, and then you go on this adventure, and then like the plot twist is that like your buddy like betrayed you, um, backstabbed you at a critical juncture, and like the girl fell in love with him. So like when you beat him for like backstabbing you, she like kills herself. I don't understand like why she gave that speech about like why you're such a terrible person. I don't know. I was like thinking about what she said, and I'm just like, is that really what happened? I don't know whether she was like bullshitting or like I don't know what happens, but essentially what happens is that like 90% of the cast is dead. Okay, other than like the protagonist, like everyone else, every other character, major character you meet in that entire scenario is fucking dead. And so like the protagonist speaks for the first time, and he starts like this monologue about how he's like how he has nothing left to fight for, and so he decides to become like the Dark Lord Odio. So alien, turning his back on like the hero he originally set out to do. Pretty cool, I think, especially since like the premise of the last chapter seems to indicate that like the other characters are like going to team up to fight him. I don't know. I don't know exactly how this is going to play out. I played like maybe 15 minutes of the final chapter, so I don't necessarily know where the story is going to go from here. But yeah, it was something. I don't want to say that like Live Alive is my favorite JRPG on Super Nintendo because it really isn't. I think like Dragon Quest IV I think I like better. I think Dragon Quest V I like better. Oh wait, no, 4 is an NES game, isn't it? Isn't it? I think it is. Yeah, yeah, it is. Unfortunately, yeah, it is an NES game. So yeah, I think I like. Yeah, I think I do like Dragon Quest V better from what I've played. I probably like Final Fantasy VI better. There are like better games. I like ActRaiser better. Like there are games I like more than this for sure, but like, yeah, I am really invested. This is still one of my favorite games of the year so far. I'm really, really enjoying this one, and I'm really hoping the finale is as epic as people make it out to be. Because I've always heard like people say Live Alive has like one of the best endings in JRPGs. I don't know if I technically already experienced it, but um, if people are talking about like the plot twist in the Middle Ages, because like I keep hearing people talk about the ending and then like the ending to like the Middle Ages, and I'm not sure if they're talking about the same thing. So I was spoiled on like 90% of the game, except for like the real ending. So I'll have to see how it all concludes this weekend. I do think Live Alive is probably going to be the next game I finish, but uh, it's not going to happen until I have some free time. So until that happens, I'm going to have to just sit here and read some manga.